Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite warlock here, practicing necromancer. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about seals and resonance them with your specific pantheon of spirits. Tattoos are something that is very common these days. You can go to just about anywhere and get a tattoo. Some people, well, they won't do a specific type of practice of tattooing because they are either Christianized or they fear what would come down because of what they've been led to believe. So it does come down to those who are willing to do these tattoos for you. I've been getting a lot of tattoos lately, and this is after an extensive research into the history of tattoos. Okay, worldwide, tattoos are something that define you as the individual. Okay, for an example, right now I think it's for $1,000 over in, what was it, Europe somewhere. I want to say it was either Europe or Italy, someplace around there, be it Paris or Italy area, and it's like $1,000, and you can get what is known as the black. Um, was it the black? I can't remember the name of it right offhand, but it's called Black something, and it was something that was very interesting to see tattoo wise because it's a full body tattoo. It takes like 4 different individuals just to do this, and it takes hundreds of hours. It takes hours on end just to do them, and that's one way to go. But a lot of people, when they get into gangs or they're associated with tribal, they normally go with the tattoos that are associated with those topics. Tribal tats are something that resonate with the pantheon, be it Pedro Mayumbi, Monte, Santeria, Nukumi in the Congo region, Quimbanda, Umbanda, Voodoo, be it Ghana, Nigeria, Ethiopian, Haitian. These are things that really define the type of practice. Even those in the sports arena, say for an example, WWE, you probably noticed that a lot of them have tattoos, these big flamboyant type tattoos, the sleeves. Well, the reason for that is because they've been injured so many times that they want to cover it up. That's the sad fact about that. Okay. But when you are talking about religious belief structures, you consider piercings, you consider tattoos of the spirits that you work with. These are all good things. Okay. Now I'm going to show you. A couple years back, I had this one done. Okay, this is my very first tattoo. Okay, and as you can see, without the circle, it is the seal for Astaroth. Okay, Astaroth, in the Goetic sense, is a very powerful duke. Okay, Astaroth is also a patron of mine. Okay, so branding his Astaroth seal upon my flesh is an act of giving back, saying, "Hey, I trust you. I'm handing myself over to you." I've got a lot of stuff here popping up. So I do apologize for that, making my computer, you know, do this. But, these are some more that I've had done. Okay. And I got more planned because I've got an entire sleeve planned. But I was in meditation just yesterday, and I was asking for guidance. I was asking for wisdom upon what's been going on, things that I've been doing, and I was reading about how certain entities are are literally unstoppable. Okay, they're unstoppable, and they can do a lot of things. Okay, but here's the kicker: branding yourself with their seals is not just an ancient form of saying, "Hey, I'm associated with this coven or this type of magic, this type of spirit." Okay, it is something that defines you. It is a story of your journey into witchcraft, magic, and a lot of other things. Okay, my button is being a pain in the butt right now, so trying to button up my sleeve here, and it's going. I don't want to do it. So yeah, screw it. I'll do it later. So, Lily Lucy, welcome to the channel. I know it's been a while. So, anyways, I was sitting there, meditating towards the spirits and the entire entities that I work with. And I got done doing that. I came out of my ritual room. I was soaked in sweat, so I decided I was going to go jump into shower. And while I was cleansing myself and grounding myself with water, I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there looking at my tattoos on my left arm, and it was like, damn, that's a story of my journey into necromancy. I've said this in other videos that I've been doing necromancy now full time for about 5 years. Okay. Um, and it's kind of cool because of the fact that I started with one, I was tracing them down, and then came up the forearm aspect. And I realized right then, guess what? I just resonated myself with these spirits because this is my journey with them. I am honoring them by placing their seals, branding myself with their seals upon my flesh. I am marking my flesh with their seals. Now, one of the questions that popped up on Facebook earlier today was, is this a positive thing? Is it something that will allow you to gain a greater insight into thought form? Is it something that will help you through your magical journey, your association with them? The answer is yes. It is a very good thing because number one, you're aligning yourself through your flesh. You are marking your flesh with them. That is like cutting, if you look at Japanese Yakuza, for an example, if they've done anything wrong, they will literally, or they didn't meet their quota, they would go to their boss and literally cut off their finger in front of their boss as a sign of honor and integrity. Okay. Third world tribal, would literally put a bone through their nostril. It would be like you today in the first and second class countries, or what is viewed as the first class and second class countries. be piercing your lips with your nose, your ears. Okay, apparently each one of them has a linguistic sense. Saying, for an example, one on the left, if you're a guy, considers yourself homosexual. Gay apparently. I don't know, but I'm so far out of the proper pronunciations of terminologies today. I'm trying to get back into them, but it's like the more I do, the more I just want to say "fuck you" to the world. But it's just too much drama when you get into it. And according to HR, where I work, it's a touchy subject like religion. Mm, yeah. So my point is this: is that when you brand yourself or pierce your own flesh, it is a sign of honor. It is a sign of integrity because some spirits actually require you to do that. If you think of hemomancy, blood sorcery, bloodletting, this is stuff that has been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. It is nothing new. The only thing that is new with it is that now you have psychologists claiming, oh my God, it is self mutilation. This person has a death wish. No, you're just not up to date on other religious factions. You're not up to date on history, mythology, occultism. So when you actually think about this in this sense, bloodletting is a way of you giving back to those spirits. Drawing the seals on parchment paper, this is a visual acuity for you to focus on and to meditate upon when doing a ritual to one of these beings. Now, if you want to get hardcore into branding, activations, cleansings, consecration, sanctifying, get a tattoo. Okay? It is permanent. You literally have to have it lasered off or removed skin wise. And that's a lot of skin if you're going to remove it. Okay? Some say it's more painful. Now, as a friend once put it in a video, you really want to harmonize when you activate that seal. You see, activating it with blood, your blood, okay, just by touching the seal, you've activated that as a doorway. And it doesn't take much. It only takes 3 drops, sometimes less than that, depending on your bond with that particular spirit. No matter what culture, what era, or eon that you delve into, you're going to see that certain images that people in general, the masses, would shy away from, what's associated with occultism. A lot of people don't like the night. They don't like going out at night because they're terrified of what goes bump in the night, be it attempted robbery, break-ins, B&E, maybe an assault or two, whatever. They're led to believe that all this shit is bad and evil. The truth is, it's not. Every day when I go to work and I've gotten just 3 days prior, I've gotten a new tattoo. I've got coworkers that sit there and go, when are you going to get out of this and get into more adult stuff? Why don't you get into Christianity? Marking your flesh according to Christianity is a sin. But yet, you got people that believe in the Hebraic system that are tattoo artists. Hmm. They work with ink. And they love it. Golems, even witchcraft in general. Just yesterday afternoon, after we picked my son up from school, we took him to an ice cream parlor, just a couple streets over from us. There was a guy, let's just say I'm not a big fan of the clothes he was wearing, but, but, I looked at him and I said, Namaste. Both he and his wife turned around, was completely surprised because I'm in a pair of jeans, sneakers, a dress shirt, and a sports jacket in 80-degree weather. I looked like a lawyer or something, basically. What took them surprised, what made them so surprised was the fact that I noticed the tattoos. This guy had a pentagram, a Wiccan and pagan pentagram, not the inverted, but the verted pentagram on the back of his thigh. Well, I wouldn't say thigh, more calf, because it was the calf area that he had it. But for me to sit there and look at him and say, Namaste, have a good day, as we walked by, it surprised the hell out of me because not many people have the balls to mark their flesh. Okay? And as a brother and friend of mine so colorfully put it, material possessions can get taken, they can get destroyed, they can do whatever they want with it. But when you place it on your skin, your flesh, your body, then you are looking at these spirits and saying, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm here to work with you, to learn from you. And this is my testament to my journey with you. Okay? And plus, when you give a little bit of hemomancy, blood sorcery or blood magic, vampiric magic, whatever you want to call it, hemomancy or blood magic is a powerful, powerful tool. Okay? And that's something that each individual has to decide for themselves how far they're willing to go for the spirits that they work with. It doesn't matter what tradition. If we're looking at Indonesian black magic, blood magic within necromancy is something that is quite powerful. It amplifies your magic. And again, I got a lot of stuff here that is just coming up here, being a distraction. So, anyways, if we go into, say, let's go to Egyptian sorcery. Blood is associated with the gods. Ares within Greek, for an example, they used to paint themselves red. Hell, one of the Britain's most famous queens bathed in the blood of virgins. Nobody said anything about them being vile or evil. You get into Satanism, blood offerings, working with bones, a form of divination. Even the blood sorceress Cagliostro, the necromancer, for an example, names off at least 30 pages worth of locations of your body to make stronger through cuts. Drawing of blood in volume 1. And she works as a medical professional. Wow. As a necromancer, I'm also learning thanatology, anthropology. You go to the crime lab, you will most likely find pagans and Wiccans and Satanists alike performing these duties. And guess what? They have an ample supply right there. Okay? You're learning medical techniques that developed over the last 300 years of just bloodletting. Okay? Go back to the 15th century, you have vampiric practices where blood was introduced to necromancy because of the energy, the negative energy. This was stuff that was associated with decay, pain. I'm talking extreme pain. Today we have phylacteries that store a lot of that energy for us to work with. Amulets, Horcruxes, if you will. Today these things are called Horcruxes. Through the sorry about that. I kind of got some coffee over my laptop here. Um, through Harry Potter franchise. Okay. But if you actually delve into Arabic, you delve into Hebrewism and Judaism, you're going to find a long history of phylacteries. Okay. I'm talking talismans. I'm talking amulets. So for them to deny these things as part of their heritage is kind of like an oxymoron telling you you can't serve God and be a Christian. Wow. Or you can't be a Satanist and not believe in an actual Satan, even though there is at least a half a dozen to a dozen texts going as far back as Sanskrit in medieval times that describe him as a very powerful Gogora, a watcher angel, a god in the right mind of the underworld, to whom took over back in the 16th century in the poetical text, for an example, literally taking over for Beelzebub, the Lord of the Witches. Wow. But wait, all these beings are just one person, one being. Well, if that's the case, then why is Christianity, Catholicism, Hebrewism, and Judaism some of the more mass murderers out there? Look how many people they've slaughtered in the name of their gods. Just saying. But yet they're denying all other religions the right to brand themselves, to worship the way their traditions do. I want you to think about that. Hey, Delmo, welcome. And Twilight Sun Shaman of Lilith. You consider speaking of Lilith, another prime example right there. Lilith, member of the Lilith, first wife of Adam, went around and killed infants, supposedly. She was known as the Night Hag. Wow. The blood of the innocent. You see, branding yourself, your flesh, with their seals is a good thing. It shows your loyalty and your trust in those spirits, but it can also activate through blood resonance with those spirits and the gates to get there. All right. It does not matter if you want to draw the symbol for, say, oh, I don't know. Let's look at the first gate or portal of Inanna from Simon's Necromyicon. Or how about the travelers through Donald Tyson's Necromyicon, the gates of the Necromyicon, to be precise. Gates and portals have been known throughout the world. They're inscribed in pyramids, temples, walls, even plaques. amulets, talismans, even on the sides of mountains. Okay, so this is nothing new, but yet people don't know all this stuff because schools do not teach them. What schools are teaching your children is a fraction of what actually is out there. But when you get into the deities, let's just out of an example, let's look at Anubis. Osiris, for an example, in Egyptian mythology, is the lord of iniquity, the judge of iniquity. And he uses a scale, a feather to the gold, to judge your iniquity. Basically, you are the one that judges and condemns yourself through him. But yet, if we're talking Anubis, the jackal headed protector of the graveyard, the grave, and the ruler of the dead, look at how he judges you. The feather to a bloody heart. Not joking, a human heart. Blood magic, blood sorcery, an organ. So the BBC News attacking E.A. Koetting and Balg, that was more personalized, I think. But I think he stepped on one too many toes and they struck back at him. Kind of like a bitch slapping, if you will. Whereas what I'm doing is showing you through education. But look at it like this. History has shown that the victors tell the story. The victors tell the stories, right? But yet we have archaeology that have proven that Christianity is nothing more than a load of horseshit. That they've literally stolen and murdered their way through the world. Time and time again for the better part of 2,500 years. They've used the Knights of Templar. They've used the masses. They've used the terror techniques. They've used politics. Mm-hmm. And they've also used fear and intimidation. Huh. But yet, when you question them which hell they're referring to, oh, can't have that. If you don't have the blood of Jesus running through you, you are going to hell. Wow. Now, are we referring to Sheol, Hades, Gehenna, Jahannam? Just saying. So, I mean, yet again, you're seeing blood being in the middle of all this. The symbolism, not just a being like, say, for an example, Abaddon is both a place and a being. Hades, a Greek god, god of the underworld, is both a being and a place. Go into Norse mythology. Guess what? You got hell, Hel, short for Helios, both a lady of the dead, a queen of the dead, and that of an actual realm of the dead. You go into Buddhism in Asia, they believe in multiple hells. So which hell are they referring to? Hmm. Interesting, right? But yet, your practices of drawing sigilliums of particular spirits, such as demons, jinn. I have a coworker that actually drew a picture of a jinn that, well, he was teaching me through Bhutan, through his country, or one of his countries that he's associated with. Because he's, on one hand, he's associated with Ghana. On the other hand, he's associated with Nigeria, and he's now an American citizen. So that's multiple countries. So this guy, he was teaching me about voodoo through his lineage, and that's an honor when they start teaching you how to perform the original rites through African sorcery. It's amazing. But here it is. This guy has some interesting tattoos on his arm. I looked at those and it's like, wow, those are definitely tribal. You can tell that they're tribal. They're associated with a family lineage. And you look at the power that he has. I mean, this guy should be in jail right now. Okay? I'm not joking. He should be in jail. He should have, no license because he got like going. I think he said he was going like 125 miles an hour or something like that, and I like a 50, area, and he ended up getting a certain amount, like 650 or something like that, dollar fine. And if he performed, say for an example, defensive driving, he keep his license and it's said and done. Welcome to the laws here in the United States. But it goes to show you that if you place the seal of a deity, doesn't matter if it's in a Orisha, a Loa, or a demon, or say for an example, a jinn, a genie, on your skin, you can take them wherever you need to go. Doesn't matter if it's in court of law, doesn't matter if you're at the workplace, it doesn't matter if you're in your own personal temple. Okay? You can be going out into a cemetery or out into the woods and set up an altar right there with sticks and stones. And you can use those tattoos as a resonance and align them with the current of that particular path working that you're doing. This is a very good thing. And like I said, through blood sorcery, blood magics, this is nothing new. Christians and medical professionals just want to feel in power. That's all they want to do. That's why they're coming at you so hard. And there's an old expression, if you ain't kicking up dust, you're doing something wrong. Okay? My advice to you, delve into history, delve into mythology, delve into thanatology, sociology, anthropology, delve into world history. And I guarantee it, everything you have been led to believe is going to stare you in the face as a bold faced fucking lie. Okay? So when I saw this post on Facebook about tattoos, about seals and branding, I had to do this video. I was moved to do this video because it is something that I strongly believe in as an alternative to a physical altar. Now, you can have an altar. Hell, I've got a couple altars that I work with, and I've got seals along my walls, and you know, I've actually burnt seals and used old bottles of Fireball whiskey or tequila, even vodka bottles, bottles, even that filling up with the ash from the embers of these packs, from the from incense that I've swept up and just put right in there because it's an altar of death. Blood is something that is associated with life and death. Necromancy has the power over both. So it is up to you, though. It's up to you on how far you want to take it. I'm just giving you the facts. I'm giving you sources. Transdimensional energies. Those energies are currents that and not beings. They're That's one thing that you got to understand the difference between is transdimensional is gateway. It is different dimensional locations. Plasmoids. Well, that's something for me to look up because it's the first time reading about that. Must be something associated with phlebotomy. That's a good thing I've been reading my better half's books. That's right, she's into phlebotomy right now. She's got another week to go before she graduates. Let's see. It's not about summoning up the energies, it's about building the current. It's about building upon the blocks. So, first of all, let me read this for you guys. How can people summon up these energies, use them, and then deny the very energies you held your hand and enforced your will, desire, belief into the world, and then say Lucifer isn't real? Well, first of all, Lucifer is associated with Venus. In the old days, Lucifer would have been the first star you saw, which would have been Venus. Okay, that's the first planetary that you would see. Some associate him with the sun. Now, if you actually get into Roman mythology, Apollo would be the sun god. Um, Egyptian, you have Ra. Okay, but if you go into ancient Greek, you have what is known as Phosphorus. Okay, Phosphoros is the brother of Hespios. Now, what's interesting about Phosphoros is he's known as the day star. Now, if we go into the biblical account, let's go into Christianity. Let's go King James Version or New King James Version. Isaiah 14:12 says, "How thou hast fallen, Lucifer, son of the morning." Okay, son of the morning, meaning morning star. A lot of people would read this verse and say, "Okay, this is somebody. This is a beginning stages of the day, early morning, where you see an actual star, a planet." But they don't really go down further and go, say, to verse 15, from verse 12 to 15, because then you would see it's an actual entity that literally wanted to put his throne above that of the Hebraic God, Yahweh. Now, what's interesting, though, is that each region of the world has a entity just like them. Like in Inca, you have Inti, the sun god, okay, or the white light god, if you will. Supe would be the god of death. Okay, Satan, Hebrew, uh, adversary, Islamic, and Judaism. He's known as El Shaitan. Okay, therefore he'd be known. He's the accuser, the tempter, if you will. Okay, so even if you went into, say, for an example, let's go into Slavic witchcraft, you have a couple entities in just about every pantheon that you can find that is in a form of duality. Okay, look at what's his name there, Purin, I believe is how he's pronounced in Slavic. He's always in battle with this other god. For it would be like going back into Sanskrit and or Hebrew in today. Go back into the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Scroll of Amrit, and you see different aspects of this duality, this confrontation. Okay, today it would be God versus Satan. It would be Michael versus Lucifer. Okay, go back into the Dead Sea Scrolls, and you'll see Michael versus that of Belial. Okay. Any way you look at it, let's go to the poetical text, and I'll get that later. But you go into the poetical text, and you see where Jesus was spending 3 nights in hell, after his crucifixion, and he literally takes Beelzebub off the throne and places Satan on the throne. Okay, so you're seeing both sides of this pantheon here. You're seeing both sides of the duality. Even if you go into, say, Zoroastrianism, you're going to go into Ahura Mazda, the mad god or the crazy god, whose literally his kingdom is opposed to Orion. Okay, hold on for just a minute. That's probably my better half chiming in. So I'll be right back. Yeah. I wish you would have talked to me first. I have a 9 o'clock interview. Uh, okay. I'm also doing a live video, so give me a moment. Give me a moment. I'm almost done with this video. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Sorry about that. That was my better half. So I got to make a phone call here shortly. Um, but yeah. So I mean, even you have a Ryman versus a Horta Mazda. Okay. If you go into the Necromyicon, you have Marduk versus Tiamat. Okay. So these forms of duality and conflict are always there. One's always trying to establish either dominance or to cancel out the other. It doesn't matter what religion you're in, you're going to have that duality. Most of the time, you're going to see how both of these two aspects play into you becoming more balanced. They both bring something to the table that will help you learn and evolve into a better version of yourself. So to say Lucifer isn't real, obviously they haven't worked with this spirit. Okay, they haven't contacted this spirit and brought him forth. Okay. Now, as to bringing them forth and tapping into that current, there's a lot of ways to do that, and it comes down to where you are located in the world. Okay. Um, if you're working with solar energies, let's say sun energies, okay, and you're working with Ra, or you're working with Apollo, you're working with Inti, or you're working with, say, Lucifer, you may want to go out and actually do these rites during the day under the sun, okay? If you live in the desert aspect, go out into the desert, make a huge circle and stand in the center of this and just you know gather the components that are associated with that entity. Like I said, tattoos, a lot of times that's all you need. Okay, next, all you need is just a circle of empowerment. It's not a circle of protection as pagans and Wiccans claim that it is. It is a circle that empowers your magic. Okay, circles are something that is something that is very, very beneficial. And it's one of the few things that you will require when you begin your journey. Okay. Next is meditation. Okay. Meditation and using mantras, whispers, or some form of chanting is a way to bring that energy up, to create it, to bring it around you. Look at Native American powwows. Go to shamanistic drum beats. Haitian voodoo or voodoo ceremonies. You look at how they're always clapping and dancing and singing. Okay, this helps open you up to these spirits. So, I mean, these are just some of the ways that I would recommend that you look into. Well, if you want to do that, Twilight Sun Shaman of Lilith, I would recommend doing it in a cemetery. Okay, you don't. A lot of people believe that when you go to a cemetery, you're there to dig up corpses. You're there to vandalize or whatever. This is a bold-faced lie. Um, in the old days, yeah, I mean, necromancers and stuff would probably do this. But today, with all the tools that we have and the more understanding and enlightening moments that we have today, all you need is that circle. I recommend standing in a circle of black salt, something that's natural, like let's say sea salt, or if you go sea salt, I recommend a big bag of it. That way you can make two circles, one inside the other, and or you can use brimstone powder. Um, let's say black salt or black sand, something that will form a connection to you and that spirit or the spirits that you're working with. Um, a place of abandonment, like say haunted places, things like old churches that are no longer operational, things that have been closed down, like abandoned buildings, places of worship, places of death. These are things that will allow you to tap into those currents a lot easier because it's already mostly there. You just have to tap into what's there and then go from there. So I would recommend void meditation. I would recommend um, opening up your kundalini, your chakras. I would recommend learning to bring forth the planetary aspects, the planet corners, not just the four cardinal directions, all before you get to the main deity that you're working with. Okay. Like I said, the seal, be it a brand on your flesh or on parchment paper. You could even use an effigy, like say a voodoo doll, or you know, some form of link that will link your spell or what you're doing to that energy. But make sure that you bring the proper offerings and sacrifices to do this. The more energy that you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. And trust me, I've done rituals where I've come out of there and I'm feeling it 3, 4 days later. Trust me on that. And I actually did a right in my altar room that I have specifically designed for these, where I became, in a sense, a mad alchemist. Oh yeah, that is one combination of herbs I'm not putting together again. I will just tell you that right off the bat. I was curious because it was okay. I'm gonna put this together, this together, this together, this together, and it turned out that it was those of you who have ever taken, like, say, LSD or smoked pot, you probably know what I mean by you better have your ass planted either in a seat or laying down on a bed because you will feel those effects. Um, some people, they like using shrooms. Personally, I don't consider mind altering drugs to be reality. Okay. I don't consider them or condone them. But it doesn't mean you can't experiment and find ways to help better your connection to the deity. Okay. Even if you're using, like I said, a tattoo or that of a parchment paper with the seal of that entity. So that's what I would recommend to you, Twilight Sun Shaman of Lilith. Godfrey, 524, welcome. It's been a while. And brother, apprentice necromancer Hades Black Flame, welcome back, brother. So that's what I recommend to you. But that's just me. But like I said, I've been seeing a lot of these questions on social media lately, and I just wanted to kind of touch base on this and kind of say, hey, this is stuff that you can do. This is stuff that's worked for me. This is what I've done. It doesn't just show other people, other practitioners, hey, I'm associated with this coven or this type of practice, but it also shows a story of your personalized journey into that system of magic and working with those entities of that particular practice. Okay. So there is a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of things that you can um, connect yourself with. But like I said, it comes down to you as individuals and how far you're willing to take your practice. All right. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that, brother. I really do. I had plans to go to the cemetery this week. I had plans to study and read and spend a lot of time in my altar room. And guess what? It was it's another week of barely anything done because the babysitter of my son is still in the hospital. She's got at least 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks worth of healing. You know, she already feels like she dropped everything in her laps, and it's like, no, 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 you concentrate on you. We've got this covered. So my son's now in school, and this week alone, which is literally his first week of school. Last week he only had 2 days, Thursday and Friday, and then Tuesday through today, and of kindergarten. And it's funny because you think with 6 hours of free time, you'd be able to get some of this shit done. And it's like, all I want to do is read. All I want to do is relax. It's my freaking day off. Nope, not going to happen. Got chores to do, got new cabinets put in, had to go grocery shopping, had doctor's appointments. It's like one thing right after another. So trust me, brother, I get you. And I mean, we just had an emergency meeting at work today. So I got called into work for a freaking meeting that should have just been common sense to begin with. So trust me, I get it. You know, and now they're threatening raises and everything, and it's like, ugh, whatever. I don't care about money. Wake me up when the meeting's over. So yeah, so like I said, hopefully next week, Monday to Friday will be something different. Oh, because all I have to do is drop him off and pick him up. So hopefully next week, you know, I'll have more time during the day to do rituals. I'm hoping, you know, but we all know the gods, they have their own plans. Things happen for a reason. So, but I am going to tell you before I go is if you got a Facebook page, go underneath a group known as Shadow Zone. Um, with the owner of that group currently out of commission, I don't know for how much longer he's going to be out. But one of his admin is actually bringing me on 9 o'clock Eastern time for a live video. So and it's going to be a live interview on his on that channel and in that Facebook group. So if you're in there, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Okay. Now, if it was dark sorcery, that would be another story because Alfredo tends to put it on Instagram, Timber, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. But um, no, basically these guys, these admin are trying to keep that page going and keep the shenanigans and all that stuff going in the group and just basically keeping it, the members and everything going. And so I asked them, hey, is there anything I can do to help you? You know, and he said, yeah, you want to come on for an interview? And I'm like, sure. Because I've noticed that when I'm on doing interviews, it's kind of funny because a lot of people hit up those interviews, and it's like you don't see them the rest of the time. So it's only for a select individuals that come on to be interviewed that you get a wide range of people. I'm lucky to be called one of them, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so like I said, I hope this has helped a lot of you out a lot. I hope that you get into that group and or are in that group so you'll be able to talk, listen to what's going to be talked about because the topic is necromantia. That's right, necromancy. Something I've been practicing now for 5 years, fully dedicated. So I've actually got yes, except for the E is basically backwards. It's like a three. So just to let you know, Stefan, and for anybody else who wants to get on that, it's called the Shadow Zone, Lily Lucy. And like I said, the E at the end of zone is like a three. It's backwards. So you're welcome. And like I said, that's 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight. So with that said, I want to thank all of you for jumping on here with me. Those of you who are coming on after, feel free to hit that like or subscribe. It's up to you. Um, hope you like what I do and what I put forth. I always will bring it to you in an educational manner. I live my life by two creeds. Whatever I preach, I always back up with numerous sources, and I always make myself available to the public. All right. With that said, I'm out, and until next time.